Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Today I am going to explain an action series called Bodyguard Episode 2. Spoilers ahead, if you like this video don't forget to subscribe. It means a lot. David drops his children's school, but Charlie was crying because his friends bullied him. David says to him to be strong and stop crying. While on job, David got a call from his wife Vicky that Charlie's teacher called and says he was very upset at school. Julia was talking to a man privately in her office. There is a bomb threat to schools and they may be targeting David's children because he prevented the attack. They think that there is a leak in the police department. Julia then joins a meeting with counter-terrorism and talks about Nadia and her husband that were arrested in previous bombing attempt. UK is on high alert due to terrorists and bomb threat. Police is swamping everywhere. Counter-terrorism department got a lock on suspected terrorists. And they are following them carefully. They think they are going to make a move on high-value target. The suspected vehicle enters into an industrial unit. And the police following them wait outside. The suspects changes the vehicle in order to avoid tracking and comes out in a white truck. Police continues to follow the truck. Soon the suspect identifies them and try to evade them. But the police tries to stop them, but it was in vain. The truck increased its speed and continues the path which leads to a school where David's children were studying. The teacher sees the truck and gets the students in the park inside the building. Soon police car stops in front of the school and fired at the truck. Truck crashes into a car. Police officers round up the truck and sees the man inside is shot. Suddenly the truck driver smiles and the truck blasts. Julia gets briefed about the blast and realizes that it was for David's children. She tells David about it, but not the part about the threat to his family. David's chief moves his family to a safe house. David asks the chief about how did they know about him and suspects that there is a leak in the department. David was put on desk duty due to security risks. He was very angry and sad about it. He was a bit annoyed and bored at the desk. After reaching home, he hugs his children and had a small argument with Vicky about the threat. David and his friend meet at a bar. They talks about the bomb blast and says condolences to the dead police officers. At that time Julia was on TV talking about the blast. His friend says that the consequences of being a soldier should be faced by politicians like Julia. Julia was in a meeting where they talk about the bombing and they says it is the same people who tries to bomb the train because both used the same explosives. Julia scolds the counter-terrorism department for not detecting the accomplices yet. She also blames them for removing David. David gets a mail about admission process for Charlie in a special school. They become very happy. David was then reassigned to Home Secretary again by the chief. He then joins to his job. At night David and Julia eats pizza over at her house and have a friendly chat. He then thanks her if she is involved in his son's matter. Next day Julia attends a meeting with Prime Minister about the bomb threat. During the drive back David gets a doubt that Julia previously knew about the threat to his family, but she somehow manages to hide it. Suddenly shots were fired at the driver. Soon he gets shot and dies. The car crashes. Inside of the car was a mess. Julia and David was covered with blood. Julia was shouting loudly when the bullets hit the car. David calls it in about the situation. Julia's mental condition was bad. David gave her confidence and calms her down. He asks Julia to get down because bullets can't pass armor plating. He then gets out of the car and finds out the position of the sniper. He calls it in and asks for backup, but it was delayed for some reasons. So he gets in the vehicle and drives it out of the sniper site. He then gets out with a gun and get to the rooftop of the building where sniper was in. When he sees the sniper, it was his friend. David says to him that it is over and please surrender. His mate replies that it is over for him, but not for David. He says David has to finish the job he started. Then he takes his gun and shoots himself. David becomes shocked and depressed while seeing it. After this David looked down mysteriously while they take Julia to a safe house. After getting home David hides his gun. Then he gets called by Julia to her safe house. Julia asks him whether she is safe or not. She was very frightened. Then she asks about who delayed the backup and become very angry about it. Who has the authority to delay it? She suspects someone had hold it down. But David says it's not like that. She hugs him, and soon they become intimate. The next day Julia was answering questions about the shooting while her colleague watched her from above mysteriously. David was called by the chief, and she appreciated him for his brave deeds. Counter-terrorism officer was also there. The chief and the officer asks David to spy on Julia. But David denies it. They said that Julia had the knowledge of the threat to your family and she hid it from you and did nothing. This was to convince David. He was surprised and angry. Later David escorts Julia to her safe house. Then he gets into her room and make out with her. That's it for second episode, guys. Let's see you guys in the next video.